first reading today tells the story of Noah and Ark. Many people regard this story as fictional. Many argue how ridiculous the idea is, discussing the details of the impracticality of feeding all these animals into the ark. However, Noah was not doing what an ordinary person does in the middle of the sea. He was fulfilling God's command. So the ark was as much God's ark. Don't you think that Noah's ark speaks of the situation we are in today? God asked Noah and his family to move into a limited space. They did not know how long they would float in flood waters or what would be the consequence. While the instructions for building the ark had many details, they are not come with a handbook for weathering the storm and the subsequent rebuilding. In many ways, the past year feels like a floating ark. We've learned to live with the minimum and limited our circles and activities. Medical professionals and first responders have shared extra work and endless shifts. Each of us did our best to keep our family and neighborhood happy and comfortable. During these months, we have had glimpses of how Noah's family must have felt, tired of the limited space, utterly exhausted by the demands of everyday life on a floating zoo. Many of us are frustrated and tired. How long will I work from home? How long will I be laid off? How soon can we get to our school? How can I keep my family's spirits up? Will my infected family member get better? Will I survive this? Why is God letting this happen? Well, we do not have answers, ready-made answers to these questions. However, we do have God's promise of the rainbow and the promise of His presence with us. We know that the rainbow does not exist without the rain. However, we also know that God's promises never fail. Tomorrow, we will begin the journey of Lent, a journey to bring our fears and challenges to God, who cherishes our most guarded questions and worries. In today's gospel, Jesus tells his disciples to remember the miracles he has performed and to understand the power of his presence. And he invites them and us to leave everything to him. When he is present, there are no limitations but abundance, no frustrations but the hope of a new life. We may be floating, but we are secure in God's ark. God bless you and our families.